So I've done very, very tiny tweaks off camera since the last hour, since the end of the last hour, and I was just about to reset um, modeling. I'm sorry, symmetry, because I had done a couple of things, a couple of tweaks across the forearm here, a little bit at the elbow, and just a little bit more at the thumb, and just trying to get curvatures and contours down solid, getting it ready for the long insertions of edges. And I thought, while I have it cut in half, I could take a look at this armpit, and let's just frame that up, getting close, and just take a moment and not remove, but correct any overlapping that's going on. So there's a vertex in here somewhere, probably that one. That is, there it is. See, there it is. Just a little bit of an overlap going on the inside there. And it is a good idea, even though it seems ridiculous because it's in the armpit. It's a good idea to deal with these things early, because understanding the flow by glancing at it will pay off in strides later. And I could even bring those in. I could bring these in very close like that. Um, that'll work. But you see how much easier that is to read just looking at it from the side now. I can see where the edge flow is. Yeah, so that when I do raise that arm up, it won't be that hard to map it. Okay, and then I'm just going to, excuse me, then I'm just going to reset the symmetry. And continue adding cross-section loops to torso, a little bit of hand, some thigh, and some foot, and then we'll do neck and head and digits. So the next objective is to bring the level of poly count detail for the upper leg, torso, deltoid, shoulder, palm of hand, and foot. Bring that to the same level of detail as the shin and knee, and the arm, elbow, and forearm, where you have this this level of detail of compact polygons. So let's begin at the right-hand view, and let's turn this off. Let's turn on the channel box here and turn on my references. Let's start with the lower abdomen, as I think the lower back and abdomen in general are easier, and as we get up to the pectoral and shoulder, that's going to get more complex. Okay, so we're going to insert an edge loop right down the middle, and make sure that that edge flow thing is turned on. I must have turned it off the last time I did this. So there we go. And go ahead and tweak those vertices to match contours. Same process as before. The same process for a while. It's going to make a much better hip line too. It's going to be nice. Front view. Back view. Perspective view. And shaded without reference. I'm seeing a seam down the middle because I did the mirroring, but the normal angle of it is not the same as the rest of the mesh, so I'm going to come up here to normals, object mode, and choose soften, and so then that seam disappears. Okay, that insertion seems okay, and let's just do a little bit of spacing here. Oh, let's use that edge slide. Since we've already got good contours, let's keep that. Okay. Back to the right-hand view. I don't like how this point dips down so strongly. Let's lift that up. Yeah, that's better. Let's insert one more in this area to help support the lower abdomen. And tweak vertices. Let's turn the slide edge off just for a moment. I really need to get to these extreme angles here. Go to front view. Let's make sure that Let's make sure that this inside edge for the abdomen is running down more towards the center of the abs. And then so we've got a center line already there. We just can't see it right now. And then we've got that. Because remember, this one right here, it's going to be split, and that's going to go all the way to digits to toes, or fingers to toes. All right, let's insert one more right across here, 50%. Tweak. Right hand view. I'm not so concerned about following each individual muscle. I think that's been clear throughout. So occasionally, I will use the muscle as a guide, so that there's a bit of an like a landmarks, like landmarks on the mesh. But I'm really thinking much more about how it moves. And then let's look at it in perspective. Oops. I'm looking at the lats, this area right here. It's a little squished. So I want to bring these vertices out, give them a little bit more meat in there. He looks pretty big from the back view. It's got a lot of muscle in here, so we want to pull that out. Remember, no straight lines between edges, so I see one forming right here. So just bump those, move those. No straight lines. The only straight line there should be is between one vertex to another, that's it. Unless this is a stylized, but we're not doing stylized at the moment. Okay, working my way up the torso. Let's go one across the lower rib cage at the base of the sternum. So that would be right in this area, not to the top of this muscle. It's more like just below that, right in there. Tweak that edge. Let's bring these down to be a little bit more like the obliques or and the latissimus coming. I don't remember what these little tiny the ribs muscles are called. Maybe they're also part of the latissimus group. Okay, decent. Look at it from the back. Okay, let's bring this down to echo just a little bit of this V shape. And we'll begin that. Okay, let's slide that one along the edge. I don't want that one to pull out of its form because I just pulled these out a little bit more, so let's slide those on edge. Yeah, that's better spacing. Maybe bring these just out a hair. That's better spacing. Let's bring these out more of a U shape or a V shape, more of a U shape just before the lower back and buttocks. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. One more across the chest, across the pectoral, right down the middle. Yeah. Well, that came out nearly perfect. Okay, let's go to right hand view. Okay, let's focus a little bit more energy on chest and shoulders. Yeah, so let's do a lot more to the chest. There's much more to do, but I'm not going to do it all right now. But let's get a little bit more of these contour loops done. I think that's okay. Let's split right down the middle at the high point, the chest, there, down the middle of the high point. I guess that makes sense, down the middle of the high point of the pectoral here, and then pull that forward. Pull all of these forward so they're almost level, because that chest is coming forward, and the one at the center line will be pushed back eventually. But I still have more edges that I know are going to come down from the neck. So like this broad area that I haven't touched is actually going to have edges coming down from the neck and face. That's why I've left it untouched. And it's going to contribute quite a bit to the chest. So in the end, actually, these things are going to be opened up like that. These are going to get tucked more over here, and then I have edges running down, 3 or 4 of them coming down from the face. Okay. Okay. Let's make room for one more. Like I said, there's much more to do with the shoulders. There's at least 3 distinct, unique edge loops, poly loops, that I want to create based on my previous work. But these cross-section edge loops are the easiest to resolve. That's why we're focusing on them first. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. May require more fine-tuning later. Trying to decide if I really want to show off ribs or just keep going the way I am. I think just keep going the way I am because this is going to make a spectacular low poly model. Uh, yeah, that's really going to make a nice game res model. And if you want to take a few out, to make it to lower the poly count, that'll work too. Okay, go to the back view reference. Can't see. Oh, there it goes. Well worth the extra edge loops that we're putting in here, so that when we raise the shoulders up, all that will stretch and there'll be plenty of polygons, and hopefully little UV stretching. There'll be some, but we don't want it to be too much. Okay, I'm getting lost. Okay, stay on the shoulders. So let's go back to front. Check contours again. Check flow. Check spacing. Check against anatomy. Check against the reference. Check in the perspective view. Does it just, does it feel like a human body? Is it feeling like a chest? I think so. Okay. And oh yes, and we will we will insert 3 more on the deltoid. 1, 2, 3. So from the front view to get round that out, start to articulate collarbone, articulate deltoid. Front view. And yeah, insert edge loop with quad draw, middle click. Let's just do one at a time so I don't get too lost. Okay, one at a time. Yeah, I can stay up there. That really laid down really nicely. That laid down really well. The right hand view. Yeah, so these are coming out a little too much. Just pull those straight back. Oh, not that one. Pull these back. Remember, I got to come across here. So there's still an opportunity to bulk up the deltoid on the front end between pec and deltoid, so I can tweak that. Not to mention there's, like I said, 3 other unique poly loops that I want to add in there. Oh, these got off contour. Let's get those back on contour. Wait. Let's just pull them straight back. Back. There we go. Pull them straight back so I don't throw off what I just did in the other view. Yep. All right. Good looking chest. I wouldn't be opposed to more cross sections on torso. I think at this point you would just have to make a decision of what's my final output. Am I going to video game? Am I going to a low poly engine video game? Am I going to a high poly video game engine? Am I going to ZBrush? Am I going to go to film? In the end, though, for deformation, if you really wanted really nice bending forward and backwards with the torso, I would double this. One more here, one more here. And I'm inclined to add more, not less. Because I could always reduce. It's always easier to go lower. All right, check against reference. Check against those muscle groups. Kind of flow in the direction of these obliques. Don't have to match it exactly, I suppose. We could do a lot of that with the normal maps. Just having that bit of edge work there. And then let's check, where does that edge flow? It's going to go down the arm. It's going to go across the deltoid. Up the neck. It's going to do something for us in the face. And across the tips of the digits. Okay, a little bit more. Here and here. And here. And here. Check contours. I know I'm breaking the rule that I've established of adding one at a time, but that quad draw with that edge flow feature is just so nice. It gets it so close. Once you get to this level of detail, you almost don't need to do anything. You just minor tweaks. It's really, really nice. Look at that hip line. That's going to be nice. Go to the front view. We can really articulate that hip bone now. We've got enough in there to do it. Look at that. So, front view. Really stick tight to the contours and you'll see that hip bone just come right out. Kind of riding the middle of that black line. I know it seems like I'm on the outside of that black line a lot, but I really should just ride the middle of that black contour line. Be consistent about that. Okay, and don't forget to nudge the neighbors just out a little. The ones coming towards me. There we go, look at that. Yep. Of course the upper leg is still pretty low resolution in comparison. See how quickly that multiplied. It's just a beautiful thing. And take a look at it here now and just how much more. I mean, you really can start, you're feeling the ribs, feeling the pecs. I'm feeling the abs there, the little tiny love handle in the hip bone, the lower back, even the trapezius and scapula. Well, scapula's not really coming out. It's really close though. It's really where am I? Back view. Oh, back view. Yeah. So yeah, scapula is like here. That angle, and in time that will emerge. Just give it a little bit more time and that's gonna become really obvious. And of course, remembering too that I gotta remind myself, this one and this one get split across the entire body when I'm ready to do those digits. Look at that nice U shape just start to form, just emerge right there. Oh, and of course I forgot my two deltoid divisions. Let's get those in there. and tweak those from the front view, matching contours on the front view. Sometimes I don't quite land on the line, and you're thinking that I'm not being consistent. I'm actually looking through my pop filter when I'm talking into the microphone, so my vision is a little bit obscured for this detail things. So that vertex right there underneath the reference, it's just a little bit more challenging to see because I'm looking through my pop filter. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So nice. How quickly that all comes together once you lay down a good framework. And I've saved this at different versions of levels of detail, so I can always come back and reassess and improve for future versions and so on and so forth. But that laid down so nicely. Really happy with this. It's like this. There's this magical transition where things just start to happen, and all we've done, amazingly, really, all that we've done um, is some extrusions down. We just paid attention to contours, paid very close attention to contours, and we've added cross-section edge loops for all of the body parts. Every once in a while, when I get to this level of detail, I'll start to turn on subdivision surfaces just to see how it holds up when it's, ultra smooth. So I'll hit number 3 and deselect, and I'll just turn it around in the view, looking at this soft specular highlight that I've placed onto the surface, and this blue color that I've placed on the surface, and you can see there's the abdomen kind of pulled a bit. There's a line there, and we can also see how some areas hold up better, like deltoid, bicep, forearm. They're holding up pretty good. Calves, front of the legs, but the inside of the legs, the back side of the legs, and the butt are not holding up as well. They're just going to need far more vertical divisions. We just don't have those yet. Whereas the chest seems to hold up better um, with the number of edge loops that are currently running down it. And I mean, you imagine it. The number of vertical loops running through the torso is twice as many as the ones running through a single leg, because the legs had to split the number of vertical edges running through the torso. So it makes sense that the torso would appear to be a better cylinder. Um, okay, so this just reveals to me a couple of things that I would not otherwise see. For example, now I can go to the right view and make a better decision to move this second row of vertices on the side forward a bit, and that will help to remove that flat spot. I'm sorry, that pointy spot that we're seeing. So this will help flatten it out. And also what might help flatten it out in subdivision surfaces is a bit deceptive, is that this edge is closer to the center line and is further away from this line. And because of that, it causes tension on the mesh during subdivision surfaces that we would not otherwise see or even care about. So that's something to be mindful of as well. So we can't trust subdivision surfaces just yet. We really need to move further forward before we can um, trust any assessment with subdivision surfaces. Okay, let's continue with the thigh and bring the cross-section density of the thigh to the same as the other regions of our body. And I am going to drop them all at once and then check contours. I mean, we laid them down so nicely on the thigh to begin with that quad draw edge flow feature just dropped them in. It is nice. Go to the right hand view and just make corrections as you need to. I think I've had the wrong edge as the contour edge for a while now on the back of the leg. because that one now, I don't know, maybe. Let's go back. No, I guess I had that right. No, I had that right. It is this one. So let's select that one just so I can see it on the right-hand view. Yeah, okay. All right. No, I had it right. I don't know where I was going with that. Sorry. I think this area of the knee, this curve, just here, just at the top side. So here's the knee cap here. Then on the opposite side, you've got the opposite curve. Um, that deserves. Oh, those are on the inside. Okay, that deserves a little bit more, like that. Two more to get that just right. Probably don't need that if you're going again for the low poly character. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. Be sure you're double checking everything. You could quickly mess up your mesh even after having laid down all that hard work. Let's see if I'm messing it up. Yeah, I seem to be getting my wires crossed here. That one should be back, this one should be forward. Yeah, that's better. A little bit better. Could probably pull those on the side of the knee back even further. Let's use this edge slide thing. We could just stay on the edge and then just tuck those back a little further. Front. Oh, I see what I was doing. I was trying to capture a little bit of that muscle right there. Hmm. Still, I think it's okay to tuck those back a little. It'll give a little bit more curvature to the inside of the thigh because I know that this front side of the thigh is going to be cut. It's going to be split anyway. So let's just make a little room there. Keep the flow going. Double check what I'm doing. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. And I think ultimately this edge will get tucked in some because, again, I'm going to be splitting the inside of the leg. That looks okay for the inside of the leg. I think the buttocks could use a little bit more, so let's drop one there. Yep. Yeah, now we're looking at a good density, consistency across the entire mesh. And again, the buttocks will become more clear when we have those vertical divisions. Yep, so that's looking good there. And we'll just take a moment to, again, with edge slide turned on, distribute. getting ready for those vertical splits. Yes. Yeah, good. I think I'm ready to just get the couple more on the foot and hand, and then we'll go on to neck and head. Okay, I took a couple of minutes off recording to uh, move vertices around on the buttocks and the back of the thigh here just a little. Nothing different than what you've already seen. I'm just adjusting vertices, keeping to contours, and everything else is pretty much the same procedures. So let's just do a couple more on the foot. 1, 2. And this is my daughter. Okay, and then add in these remaining edges, and then I don't need edge flow on the bottom here. Yeah, that works. And keep the contours, so on and so on. I think by now you understand the pattern. And I think more importantly, as we go on, you'll notice that I am spending more time in the perspective view with the reference off, using past knowledge of modeling figures, and also looking at other references. So, and keep these bottom polygons really simple here. Keep those simple. Don't make sure we don't have anything else selected, and set their value to be absolute y-axis 0, so they stay flat. Now we actually have enough to start articulating. Let's move it on the x-axis only. Now we have enough to start articulating let's move these in a little, and that's going to be the arch. Let's move these just out a little. Turn all 3 axes back on. Edge slide. Starting to like it. Starting to like the edge slide. Especially after working so hard at keeping contours. It's a real pain to lose those contours just for bumping a vertex around. Okay, good enough. One more on heel, one more on the back of ankle. It's looking a little too clunky back there. What was that? Oh, okay, that's the multi-cut tool. So that multi-cut tool is the same thing. Didn't even realize. Multi-cut tool, hold control, middle click, and it drops an edge loop too. Nice. Okay. Let's Actually, let me undo those cuts, those insertions, and make sure that edge flow's turned on. Okay, now do it. Better. Oh yeah, way better. Yeah, good. Nice. Lots more opportunity to do good work around the foot. Once we get those vertical divisions cut in there, that's where it's gonna really gonna be nice. Here we go. Yeah, it's looking like a foot. All right, looking like a heel. Not too bad. Let's go back to front view. I'm just a little concerned about this spacing, how it's wide here and thin here. I think I was following that tendon. Yeah, I was following that tendon. Let's turn that edge slide on. And I think it's more important at this point to just have even spacing. We can let the normal maps or displacement maps really define tendons or bone. Let's just drop that a little bit more center. You probably caught that earlier, but I was getting caught up with the reference. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Way better. Yeah, so when it cuts across there, it's going to be pretty even on each side. Yep. Okay. And then lastly, the hand. Let's just do one more on the hand. Make sure I'm looking at the front view. Oh, wrong hand. That's right. This side. Yeah. And insert another. And tweak vertices. Turn edge slide off for the moment. Let's turn soft selections on. Where's that? Change the distance to 1. And just tuck all of that over. Yeah, see how quickly that was. And then let's turn soft selections off and then put these back. Okay, but we're not going to commit too tightly to the reference for thumb and hand as we already experienced. Okay, let's just look at the palm of the hand from back here. Oh. And without the reference. Back of the hand seems okay. Not too ugly. I know some people, and I've seen this done. Some former students like to do it this way. They'll take the hand off. Actually, they won't even take the hand off. They will just build a hand separately in a completely different file. They'll build it flat, like you're laying your hand down in a scanner and scanning it, and then they'll just build it from there, and then they'll attach it. They'll just rotate it and attach it into position. They find it easier to solve that way, and I just never adopted it. I just never adopted that method. Let's make it a little bit thicker on the side here. And a little bit thinner in the palm. I really didn't spend I didn't spend any time on the palm of the hand, did I? let's round this out a little. And I'm avoiding the middle because of the future splits. Okay. Yeah. All right. We're ready to move on to neck and head. Let's begin the neck and move on to the head. Then we're going to do the digits and the detailing of the face last. The digits add an incredible amount of detail to the body because of the requirements of the topology for the digits. And if we did that now, I think that would have a demoralizing effect so that by the time you got to the neck and the head, it would feel too disjointed, too disconnected. So since the resolution of poly count is still fairly low at the neck and shoulders transitions, and it is as well on the hands and the feet, I think this is a good time to generalize the head and to get everything on par with each other, and then commit to the higher poly count. So let's go to the front view and focus on these 4 polygons I have selected. Our objective is to extrude and go straight to the top of the head. Okay, that yellow warning flag says topology has changed significantly, and consequently we have lost symmetry. So we're going to have to pick a different edge for symmetry. So let's just, that's funny. So let's just extrude up. He's a blockhead. And he's got a paper bag on his head. And let's just pick any edge that we're not really going to do much work to, like one right down here. That one. And choose that as the symmetry edge. Okay, now we've got symmetry back. And we can continue to do all the work that we need to up here without worrying about losing symmetry every single time we cut across that line. Okay, so let's tweak W and front view, wireframe. Bring these to the top of the head. Let's insert for a neck. And tweak that. Let's just tweak the entire edge. We don't have to slide it or anything. Let's just scale it. There we go. It's good. And then insert again. And that's actually on contour. Good. And again, right down the middle. Okay, good. Go to the right-hand view. Adjust the flow. Adjust the contours. Adjust for density. Okay, something that I'm after right away in the beginning is the face loop. So this is going to go just above the head. This is the top of the cranium. This is just behind the ear. So let me share with you what I'm after here right away. Get that there. Let's go to just below the jaw, just above the Adam's apple there. Just below the jaw. This line right here, that's the center of the ear hole. So go ahead and move that over so that it runs right through the ear hole. I've seen enough of these now that I know where it's going to go. Or at least a very good guess. Let's use that right at the bottom of that curve to articulate that curve. Let's put this one right at the top of the collarbone. Yeah. Good. Yes. And then these eventually, we don't want to move them down because that's, if I move them down in the right view, that's actually moving them straight down. So let's use edge slide. Move them towards me, down that edge. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Good. Okay. Look at this from the front view. Okay, let's stay on contour. So no edge flow. I mean edge constraint, excuse me. Right up against it. Imagine this is under the jaw. Bring that under. Right on the edge. The edge. Yeah, bring this straight out. Don't go up or down. Just go straight out. Straight out. Straight out. So which one is the middle? Okay, that's the middle. Okay, so this one goes back a little. This one goes on contour. Straight up, but you don't have a choice of that. It's always going straight up. Okay. So if you've made a head with me before in another previous character class, you'll see that I'm doing this quite a bit differently. And it's because I had an epiphany. The epiphany was that the modeling toolkit allows me to do true box modeling. I can do extrusions on the center line, and that's exactly what I just did with the neck. I did an extrusion on the center line. Can't do that with the cut in half instance method. Okay, next we're focused on the ear hole and face loop. Just adjusting some flow, just a little. And do that with edge line, yeah, because I already established a decent. Yeah. Back to right hand view, edge constraint off. Turn my reference on, turn my wireframe on. Keep that on the hairline, that vertex. That's the hairline. And then this one, that's also the hairline. So this edge kind of runs, if you had sideburns here, it would just run through the middle of those sideburns. Yeah, this one, yeah, that's okay right where it is. Okay, and then I told you this one runs through the center of the ear. Okay, so now we're going to take these two and extrude them. And go ahead and hit the reset button on extrude there and just give it an offset of maybe 1. No, that's too high. 0.8. Still too high. 0.25, that's fine. And then we're going to scale these further small until it takes about the shape of the ear, not necessarily the ear hole. Not just the size of the ear hole. I usually teach to just bring it all the way down to the size of the ear hole, but honestly, it's really going to be a much bigger hole because we still have to attach the ear to it. Okay, Oops. And then what you get, if you notice this, is we get this very nice webbing from center of the ear. So these edges will flow outward from the ear. So as we divide this and split this, they will flow in those directions. Now, in order to ensure that we don't get an exhaustive amount of edge flow down the neck through the body, I'm going to remove the polygons, these two. So this is going to be my first of few actual cuts into the geometry. Because if I split this, and I want to split right there, and if I do that, and select it, that edge, it's going to run down the shoulders, run down the arm, so on, so on, so on. Run down the leg. It's going to go down the heel. It's going to go across the front of the toes. And that could be useful, but not right now. In fact, eventually that will be useful, but not right now. So I'm just going to undo that, and I'm going to remove that one and that one. Okay, and delete those two. Go to the right-hand view, and let's insert an edge loop 50% on the backs and tops of the head, those three, and then adjust for contours. Go to the front view. Okay, there's not much we're going to be able to do here. Really not much at all. Just stay on contour is really all we can do. And remember, the temple, the side of the head, is really quite flat. The head's not round. The head is a box. So box modeling really does help us here. See, more flat like that. That's more true to the shape of the head. A little bit of a side. And also, that's why I use, where is it? In the perspective view. That's why I use a 75mm focal length, so that when I'm staring down the front of the face, I can see just a little bit of the side of the temple, but it's really quite flat. Okay, next is the face loop. The face loop is going to be built from this polygon, well, these two right here. That's going to become, all of that is going to become the face. The complexity of the face comes from that. So to prepare for that, I'd like to have at least 4 to use. And so I'm going to split down the center from ear, and I'm going to split, finally, down the center of skull, which is going to run all the way from crotch and back around to the back of the head. So it's going to run all the way there, right down the center. Nice. And you can see how much more it gives to the back, helping to define spine, and ultimately trapezius, lower back. Oh, it's just going to be nice. And sternum, abdominal muscles, and you can see that I can now distribute these a little bit better because it's really quite tight in this area now. I knew that was going to happen eventually, and there's going to be a little bit more from the face coming down into the body, and eventually down the side of the neck, across the shoulder here and here. Okay, back to the face loop. The face loop, it's really quite simple. It's a simple concept. I explained it earlier. It is the poly loop that separates from the fleshiness, the plasticity of the face from the stiff rigidity of the skull. So we'll select all of that, the 4 on this side, 4 on the other side with symmetry, and extrude. And that extrusion is a perfect extrusion. Let's set the local Z to be 0. And that polyloop right here, that's the one separating front of the face from the back of the face. Okay, let's move this vertex forward. Okay, because eventually, let's move it on the bridge of the nose. And this one can be behind. Let me think about this. Okay, yeah, so I gave it a little thought. On the front view, that one's running down the center of the eye. That's going to work out. That's going to work well, because I said in an earlier video we need 16 edges minimum running around the eye, probably 8 for a low poly character. So let's keep this vertex forward, level with the bridge of the nose, and then that can run through the eye. Let's bring the brow. Okay, so this is the edge. This is this edge. Okay, let me select it. This edge is the face loop edge. This edge is also part of the poly loop of the face loop, but it's above the eye. Okay, so all of this becomes brow. So bring this forward. See that? And yeah, and bring this to chin. Just about, yeah, right here at the end of the chin. That should be fine. Jawline, that's acceptable. Yes, that's acceptable. Yes, yes. Good. Good, I can see it now. So when I split, let's move this front view. Make sure this is above the eye. Above the eye. Yeah. Okay, let's double check what I'm doing here so I'm not messing things up. Go back to right. Yeah, I was messing that up. Okay, good. Closer to ear. Adjust flow. Good, yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, yeah, so again, it's same thing with the body. What I was really careful with, like the elbows and the knees and the ankles, and just exactly what the shape was, so that we set this up so that it kind of does the work for me. All right, let's just take a step back and look at density with shaded, and maybe just take a moment to adjust form, okay, because I've got a flat head. So let's go to front view and wireframe, and just spend a little time moving these very simple wireframe into a good volume. That's ear hole there, right? Yeah, that's the ear hole. Much better. Much better. Remember, this is an orthogonal viewport, so the head is going to appear wider at the top ever so slightly. Doesn't seem that way, but that is the way. Right on. And then let's look at it again in perspective. without reference with shaded on. Much better. Okay, maybe just a little bit of a tuck back here. Here. Maybe not that one, not that one. The one below it. Okay, let's soften the mesh. Normals, soften. Yeah, way nicer. Let's turn off the wireframe. Yeah, starting to see it. Let's bring the temple forward a bit more. Let's go to the right hand view, show you what I was talking about. So go to the reference, this vertex, bring it forward. And that one could be there. This doesn't have to be bridge of the nose. It could even be here. No, I'll just leave it where it is. That's fine. We'll just leave it where it is. This one can come much more forward. This one can come forward. This one can come forward. And this will tend to square up the face. This one can come forward. I know it's on the inside of this curve, but we're going to have more divisions, remember. So this is the bottom outside corner. Bottom outside corner of the eye. Go back to perspective. Take a look at form. Better. Way better. All right. I'll see you in the next hour.